Yeah, something to learn from, something to improve going into the future.
We have good tracks and bad tracks, but not ones we think we can compete against the others with.
The 2023 season is definitely not over when it comes to the Constructors' Championship fight, and with McLaren picking up the pace from Austria and Silverstone onwards, they've embarked to pass Ferrari in what would be one of the most legendary comebacks noted in Formula One. However, with 4 races to go, and with Piastri notching a DNF in Austin, the fight has been made a lot harder, and after Sainz's latest threat towards his former team, it's safe to say that McLaren will embark on a very difficult mission, one that has been confirmed by Norris and Stella as well. After Norris' latest statement, could McLaren really get out of the 2023 season without a win, as Red Bull labelled the Woking-based squad to be their most consistent rivals so far? McLaren is definitely one of the most, if not the most, positive surprises in 2023, as the team started the season way in the back of the pack and managed to turn their fortunes around after the upgrades that came in Austria and Silverstone. Before that, Stella was adamant that the team had missed its development targets and it would take them some time before they figure it out. But with how tight the technical and financial era of F1 is right now, many didn't believe that McLaren had what it takes to pull off this move, fighting for podiums after barely scoring any points in the first couple of races. But not only did they manage to do so, they prevailed as one of Red Bull's most consistent rivals. And from fighting with Alpine in the midfield, the Woking-based squad has turned its focus on the top 3 spots in the Constructors' Championship. While Aston Martin seemed like the team that would give McLaren a lot more issues, that didn't happen. And with 4 races remaining, the difference between Sainz's former and current team is now standing at 80 points. Elaborating on this, Norris is convinced that the remainder of the calendar will provide them a lot of fighting ground with Ferrari, and with McLaren finishing on the podium with both of its cars in 2 consecutive weekends in Suzuka and Qatar, while Sainz did not even start the race in the latter one, is definitely a promising sign that we're going to see this question being resolved in Abu Dhabi. Furthermore, Norris was asked whether Ferrari's gap can still be caught before the Austin GP, and the Brit answered, "It's doable. I think so. A couple of races ago it was 70-something points to Aston. I think we're just doing a good job, not in terms of pace, but we had a 1.8-second pit stop, which is pretty impressive from the guys. They've been working extremely hard, so to reward the whole team consistently is only more motivating and a bigger boost every weekend." However, the Austin GP did not go entirely in McLaren's favour, as the Maranello team managed to get 1 more point of lead compared to them, making the remainder of the 4 races in 2023 very difficult to overcome. Still, Sainz appreciates how much his old team has progressed in the current season, and he feels like there's definitely a lot of things to be learned from them in the upcoming season. However, according to the Spaniard, the gap that his team has is way too big to be caught in the remainder of the calendar. Elaborating on this, Sainz went on to say, "I think if we don't have any other DNS or DNFs, I think we should be able to keep them behind. Doesn't mean that they're not going to beat us. I think they are going to beat us in the most of the races from here to the end of the season if all things align, because they do have a very quick car nowadays, and they look to be the only ones that can sometimes bother Red Bull, and in a track like Singapore, where maybe it's more us who are quicker. But I don't know. I was playing golf yesterday with Lando. We were discussing whether they will be ahead this weekend or whether we will be ahead. Maybe quali, maybe race, but basically we don't know. Let's see tomorrow." And this was said before Austin, the weekend in which Ferrari managed to gather more points during the sprint race compared to McLaren. And in the race, that was almost neutralised by Norris finishing second and Sainz third, with both Leclerc and Piastri not managing to score points for their respective teams. Obviously, the fight is going to continue until the last race of the season, and the goal for McLaren is more than clear: snatch the 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship from Ferrari. But with Ferrari having only 20-point deficit compared to Mercedes, the Italian squad will definitely get their elbows out for whoever comes at them in the remainder of the 4 races. The fight is also very close in the Drivers' Championship as well, with Perez leading the best of the rest at P2 with a 39-point advantage to Hamilton, who's still holding an 18-point lead to Alonso. But everyone below the two-time world champion is very tightly packed. Sainz managed to creep to Alonso at just 12 points, while Norris passed Leclerc and has the same point deficit to his former teammate as well. Leclerc isn't that far away, and with 151 points, he holds a shaky 8-point lead to Russell, so the championship fight is going to witness a lot of changes until the end of the season. But with how Red Bull praised McLaren for their pace and performance in the second half of 2023, as well as in the first couple of races with their newest upgrade package in Austria and Great Britain, there comes a time where the F1 fans are going to want to see Verstappen and Red Bull being pushed for wins much harder than they are right now. Nonetheless, the hopes from McLaren have dropped immensely after the last couple of races, and even though they praised what they've done so far in 2023, the hopes of a race win have dropped down massively after the missed opportunity in Austin. Norris does definitely hold a very pessimistic view when it comes to the MCL 60 winning a race in 2023, and when talking about this, he said, "Do I think our best chances have gone? I would say yes. I think Qatar was our best chance of winning a race, and I missed out on that one. I don't want to say no, I don't say like never. I think there's no super high speed Suzuka style, Qatar style circuits left, which is where we're strong. I don't think there are any good ones for us coming up. I think our best have gone. I just want to be hopeful that we can do good results, and I think we can still fight for podiums, but these guys are too quick for me. If you looked at the GPS overlays of how bad we are in the low speed areas, I'm not looking forward to Brazil. I think we're going to be pretty shocking there. Vegas and Abu Dhabi are probably the better ones." And to top that off, McLaren seems to enter the last 4 races without any upgrades planned on their Challenger. So be that as it may, the mission of the Woking-based squad has been made more difficult to a further level. This is something that the team principal of McLaren, Norris and Stella, has spoken about. And with how Mercedes has suddenly come up with the more competitive Challenger, if we are to compare the pace from Norris and Hamilton, the realistic scenario has hit the Woking-based squad very hard. As Andrea went on to say, "We are realistic that this season is not like we are going to have any magic in terms of car development to actually add the lap time or add the improvement from a tyre degradation point of view that will change things around significantly. But we were at the same time not expecting the Kota track to be one in which we were leading the race for an entire sting and a half. We look forward to the coming races and hopefully we can succeed." With this in mind, the situation is more than unpredictable for the remainder of the season, and while McLaren notched some massive improvements in their development path, this is not the end product that they're going to be satisfied with. Quite the contrary. They already knew that Norris' ultimatum was to have a championship-winning car by 2025, and they started to deliver on that much earlier than anticipated. However, if the pace doesn't continue with an improved pace, as there are much more issues that yet to be solved, then McLaren will have some difficult talks with Norris regarding their common collaboration. What do you think about McLaren's chances to kick Ferrari from P3 in the Constructors' Championship? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.